Hello MSF and FOTMS. It's Modular Shed checkout time, and this is where we are today. Module 2 is in progress. There's Module 2 sitting next to Module 1. It's got 2 additional uprights. They're braced and spaced and connected to Module 1, and they're even concreted. Let's take a look. So these are my new 12-pound posts from Build Base, and it's concreted in with gravel initially, and then for the very top layer I did it without gravel, just sharp sand and cement. Let's take a look at the other one, and that means that the top layer is really smooth, and I've given it a little bit of mounding for water runoff, but yeah, I think they're looking much smoother than the first 4 posts. Yeah, the original posts look quite, well, the concrete looks quite knobbly. That's that one, and I think that's the very first one I did which looks well messy. So yeah, I'm getting neater and getting better at doing that. So when the concrete sets on these 2 new posts, things to do. Well, build a floor, and because we're a bit higher up here, the floor is going to be above the level of the floor in Module 1. So you will step up onto this floor. Then I need to extend the roof. Now the roof won't step because that's awkward. So as you can see, the original roof has a bit of a slope to it, and that will continue to slope on up when I get the additional roof panels, the corrugated panels, and extend that over Module 2. Now, interesting thing, when I was checking this post, this front post for plumb, I discovered it had a bit of a lean on it. So I've put a bit of a gap in between this bracing piece, and I think there's also a gap this end. Yes, there's a small gap there, and that was to get this post plumb, but it obviously means that that post isn't quite plumb, so a little bit of a lean has set in. Now the upshot of that is that the gap between those 2 posts starts at the bottom slightly under 1100 or 1200 to the centres, and gets a little bit wider at the top. Now most of my sort of overlapping panels will absorb that, but if I wanted to do what I did with the OSB at the back, which is to sit it between the 2 posts, that's going to mean some pretty strange angles cut on those edges. It's not going to be rectangular, so I probably won't do that. I've got a feeling the posts at the back are a little more in line with each other. Now I can't put that top panel where it should go, which is there, and that's because the bracing and spacing bar up here had to be put on the inside of the post rather than on the outside, which I've done with all the others, and that's because I couldn't really get to these screws from this side, from the hedge side, because the hedge is very close. So I've had to put that on the inside, and that stops me putting that top panel back in place. Oh well, it'll be fine for the next few days because it's not going to rain much. So I will now run some time lapse that I did when I dug the 2 additional holes for that Module 2 and put the posts in and started to brace and space them, and I'm pretty sure the camera was about here. So I was at the timber yard yesterday and I took a look at his shiplap and also his tongue and groove. So I might possibly try cladding using one of those two cladding types rather than the feather edge. I mean, the feather edge I don't think is going to be a problem, but I might just experiment with shiplap and tongue and groove for maybe not module 2 but subsequent modules. We'll have a think about it. Anyway, for the moment, goodbye.